Hey guys, Patrick here. I'm at the News Desk B-Team World Headquarters, coming to you early December, doing what we do, which is update you on the Niagara real estate market. If you've watched anything we've done this year, I've gone on at great lengths. Some say too much about the risk or why you shouldn't compare 1 month in 2020, any month in 2020 except for perhaps January, February, to the previous month in the previous year. So, for example, November 2020 to November 2019 is hilarious if you compare them directly and pull. You can do it, but just don't put too much weight on it. This really is a year of outliers. It's an oddball. It's a unicorn year, 1 month after another. It's like a tennis ball in a basket of apples. This is a year that's going to set a record for setting records. That's like a year that it's famous for being famous. This is, I dare say, you heard it here first. This is the Kardashian year of Niagara real estate market data. It is famous for being famous. It is setting a record for setting records. So let's dig into it. So I promised I wasn't going to dwell on 1 month over 1 month, so I'm going to spend 37 seconds on this. Very quickly, the Niagara region, St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, the two heaviest volume cities. Niagara region, total number of sales up 22%. The number of new listings relatively unchanged. Average sale price up 31% for the month. So remember, when you have sales up 22%, that's 22% more sales happening at the grocery store. But if you're restocking the shelves roughly the same as normal, you're going to be short inventory, right? So as a result, prices go up. St. Catharines, the total number of sales up 5.9%. Total number of new listings down 1.1%. So not as much of a margin there, but still average sale price up 20%, 20 for November. Niagara Falls, total number of sales up 48%. Sales up 48%. New listings only up 2.7%. So that's a huge disparity. So guess what happened? For the month of November, average sale price 34% increase. And again, you could argue that sale price is a bit of a lagging statistic, a lagging piece of data, but this is all part of the broader market, right? But that's November specifically. So what does that mean? So let's look at September, October, November. So those 3 months combined. Let's look at the numbers for Niagara, and then we'll look at again St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, just because they're the big volume cities in the region to give you an indicator of things. So very quickly, those 3 months, Niagara region, the total number of sales was up 40.2%. So 40% increase in sales, 3.3% increase in listings. So that's a 37% differential, right? Average sale price over that span was up 25% year over year for September through November. So again, 40%, 3%. So then what happens? Price up 25%. St. Catharines, same deal. The total number of sales was up 31%. The number of new listings was up 7%. So as a result, we saw sale prices up 17% over that 90-day span. Niagara Falls, same deal, but even more so. So 61% increase in sales for those 3 months, while new listings came up about 16%. So as a result, the average sale price was up 24% over that span. Would the pricing have been different had sales been up 61% and the number of new listings been up 48%? For sure, because buyers would have had more choice, less competing offers, less competition, less heatedness, less bubbling on the pot, and more choice, right? More choice brings more pricing. So, or different pricing. But that's the reality of when you have this huge differential over the last 3 months. So now let's talk about the same thing, but let's go back over a year and over a decade. Hang with me. Okay, we're going to look at two pictures. They're not graphs, they're not charts, they're just pictures, but they're going to show you what has happened in the Niagara market over the last 10 years. So this first one shows you the number of number of new listings across the top on the blue line and the number of sales in the pink line below. Look back at 2010. What a different market that was. We had about 2 listings for every sales for that year. So about 12,000 new listings and about 6,000 sales. So that's a 2-to-1 ratio. And you can see as time went on and we got into 2015-16, how those tightened, right? Where all of a sudden the number of new listings came down as sales crept up. And we were talking about it as an industry. We were talking about it back in 2011, 12, 13, that we were undervalued in comparison to area or cities 20, 30, 40 minutes up the road. And so we saw that creep happening. And then all of a sudden, see how it clenched and sort of whatever the analogy is I can't come up with right now, where listings and sales got as tight as they did. So it went from a 6,000 differential to, can't remember the number, but about 1,500 difference. Yeah, it was 1 quarter in the year 2016 between the number of new listings and the number of sales. So what does that mean? That means that buyers went from having that much choice to having this much choice. And that's what really led to that price explosion in 2016 and 17. When the average sale prices went up in 16, they went up 22%, the highest of all time, and then 17% in 2017, the second highest in all time. And then you can see what happened in 2018 and 2019. The market took a step back. All of a sudden, the difference was about 5,000 between the number of new listings and the number of sales. So it opened back up. Remember, a couple of years ago, buyers did have more choice. There was, we weren't delaying presentation of offers, not as many competing offers. Everybody took a breather. But then it's clamped right back down again here in 2020, post-COVID, as we've seen these record sales numbers and the new listing inventory being sort of lackluster. And as a result, we've got the second smallest differential between new listings and sales. What does that mean? We are going to have the second highest annual average sale price increase of all time, behind the 22% a couple of years ago, 2016. 2020 is going to have an average sale price increase of about 21% for the year. And second place, both in terms of the average sale price and the differential between the number of new listings and the number of sales. So the antidote to all of this is more supply to feed that demand. That's it. That's the bottom line, is if there's more supply, if there's more stock on the shelves, there's less heatedness. There's not 18 offers on a house like I saw on Instagram the other day, or 20 offers. There's 2 offers, right? And that's the antidote to it all, is more supply. So basically, everybody's got to start moving, every 3-4 years, whatever it takes. But that's the biggest piece in the last 10 years. So I'm going to show you to you in another way. This next graph shows you the differential thing I'm talking about. So you'll see back in 2010 how it was at its highest, the split between the number of new listings and the number of sales that year. So it was about 12,000 new listings, 6,000 sales, and you can see it clamped right down in 2016 when it was down to about 1,500, the difference. And then it came back up, and then it's come back down again. And we're seeing the same indicators, the same results, the same symptoms of those dynamics in 2020 that we saw in 2016. So that is essentially what's been happening across the Niagara region, and the same trend continues with the cities. So here's St. Catharines. Again, the same basic concept over 2010 through 2015, 16, 17. Relaxes in 18, 19, and then here we are in 20 again. St. Catharines on similar track, not quite to the extent of Niagara region, but still a similar track. Then Niagara Falls, same thing. You see it clamp down, it loosens back up, and it's clamped right back down again. So that's the nature of the market we have right now, is the sales are increasing, coming up against decreased inventory. So it is high school economics coming back in all of our faces right now as far as the supply and demand goes in the market. So where do we go from here? Well, it's really tough to say. There are some trends or characteristics to the market right now that we saw at the end of 2015. And when we came into the end of 2015, we all know the spring of 2016 is when everything changed in Niagara. I don't think we have it in us for another 20% price increase next year, but we certainly are going to have one this year. 2020 is going to be up about 21%. So it really, the level of the demand, this buyer demand, has not fizzled out. Usually around December 10th, December 12th, we're all looking at our jams and shopping and starting to relax. There's no indicator of that right now. And if anything, it's going to get more challenging because less people are inclined to put their house up for sale over the Christmas market. So if this buyer demand carries on in any form, it's going to be coming up against decreased inventory until we get into January. So once we get into January, my expectation, it'll be just like January 2020. The first 2 months of this year, pre-COVID, the market was off to an explosive start. It was Usain Bolt out of the gates. And then COVID basically clotheslined it and gave it a standing 8 count. So if we ramp up to that same level of intensity, listing inventory and all that sort of stuff comes on, starts to feed that demand in January, February, look out. It's going to be a really interesting, a very active year. But right now it is super tight. It's super competitive. It's a December, unlike, I've been in this for 17 years. It's a December unlike anything I've ever seen. So, hey, there's my 8 cents. Hopefully it was helpful. If you do have any questions, reach out anytime. We do have a new website with a great market tracker, market stats page to it. It's right on the homepage. You'll see it there. Just click the button and go and have a look. We can update those stats in real time. anytime, all the time. So check back there often. If you have any questions, curious on your end of the market, your neighborhood, your community, whatever the case may be, you can reach out to us anytime. We're happy to help. We love chatting with you guys. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell or whatever whatever they say on YouTube. But yeah, subscribe. Okay, cheers. Thanks, guys. See ya. Bye.